Good morning everyone, it's Carol here at Oak House Journals. Big warm welcome from me as always. I'm going to do prompt number 7 of Junk Journal January 2024, and today's prompt is stitched. So on my desk here I've got a selection out of my stash of various bits of paper. There is stitched paper, handmade paper, in wallpaper, embossed wallpaper, all sorts. So I'm just going to layer these all together and do some stitching over the top and see what I can create. Here I've got a rather thick piece of handmade paper. As you can see, I was struggling to tear it and not making a very good edge at all. So I decided to bring out my tearing ruler and see if that is any easier to tear with, and yes, it certainly was much easier. I'm looking for a piece that's roughly about 2.5 inches by 4. There's no firm size I work to when I do these little stitched scrappy scraps, just whatever pleases me. And all I'm going to do is choose random pieces of paper out of the pieces that I've got on my desk, lay them up and see how they look. So here I'm just auditioning a piece of embossed wallpaper. This piece is a reject print piece that I did a while back on another project. I liked the pattern on it, so I decided to keep that scrap. And I have used it previously, and this was just another bit that I had left. This is just a piece of embossed handmade paper. Oh no, it's the wallpaper, sorry. What am I looking for now? Yeah, this is a piece of digital paper, and as you can see I've got a bigger sheet of it in the top right hand corner with a couple of cat paper clips, and that is going to be my background that this scrappy scrap is going to go on, and that is already cut to size and just held in place with the paper clips. So I wanted to pull in another piece of that same digital paper so that it would all tie in together. So all I'm doing here is just playing with my bits around the background piece, just seeing where I want them to go, what's giving me the nicest effect, what will be nice to stitch over to make some interesting stitch marks on here, and auditioning that one over the top, but I think I decide I like it better underneath. Yep, there we go. So I'm liking how those 3 pieces are looking. The finger tap there is an indication I'm thinking of what to do next. And I think I go in with some text next. That's a mouthful to say, text next. This is a scrap of text that I just liked the font. It's from an old book. I've got loads of these scraps left over, and I particularly like what it says on it. Here I've got one of the Tim Holtz labels, and I think the splash of red will look quite nice on there to give me a pop of colour. And this is one of Sam Poole's labels in pink, and I want to put it underneath that scrap of lace in the corner just to pick up those pink roses on the left hand side. So here I'm just showing you that I've gone to my sewing machine and I've done some based stitches, just randomly straight stitch and zigzag stitch to adhere those pieces of paper to my background handmade piece of paper. And there's my text in place going in here, as you can see, with my little Tim Holtz label, and I think I'll put the Sam Poole label in place next. Yep, here we go. And I'm just gluing these in place with some art glitter glue on the back, and then I take my scrappy scrap back to the sewing machine and I stitch around the text and also the Tim Holtz label. You might have already noticed that I also put a little portion of quite a delicate lace underneath my pieces of paper, but on top of the base handmade paper before I did my stitching, just to add a little bit of delicacy to the bottom and to the right hand side. And here, as you can see, I'm just gluing my piece of lace on the top just with some art glitter glue, and then I put a couple of quilter's clips on it just to hold it whilst it's drying, or the glue is grabbing and adhering. A little bit more needed. There we go. Oh, another little bit of glue repair to that top right hand portion. Little gentle press down with my bone folder. So many uses for a bone folder when you're crafting. There we go. And here I'm just auditioning it on my background. This is my background digital page removed, and I've just stitched all the way around it, and here I'm just burnishing it with my bone folder to flatten down the stitches on the reverse, going around the edges with Vintage Photo Distress ink. Nearly said Distress Oxide ink, but it isn't. And I'm just going through my little stash of mother of pearl buttons to see which couple of buttons I want to use on my piece, and I decide on the mother of pearl ones that look like flowers to keep in with the floral theme. Lifting out some blue DMC floss here, choosing a colour that is going to pick up the tones on my background piece, and I actually decide on a 8-weight perle cotton instead of a DMC floss. Double it up, thread it through my button, and just tie it in a simple knot and snip away the edges. So I'm using my tweezers here to help me guide my thread through from the front to the back and then back through again before I tie my little knots on the front. Knots are tied now. Dab of art glitter glue and popping my button in place. And again I go in with a couple of quilter's clips just to hold those buttons in place whilst the glue dries. So that's one, and this is the other. So a couple of minutes later, those buttons are nicely stuck in place. I've got a scrap of linen fabric, and I'm just going to glue that to the top portion of my scrappy scrap on the reverse, just to hold it in place. And then I take this to my sewing machine and I run a single line of machine stitching across the top, and that's done. Just burnishing my stitches as always using my bone folder. Little extra burnishing on the back there that I've missed before. Decide that piece of fabric is too wide for a hinge, so I've just ripped away a portion. Folding it over to create a nice crease. This is my background piece again. Just again seeing where I want that scrappy scrap to be positioned, adding a dab of glue to the background and gluing down the other portion of the hinge before I take it to my sewing machine to do a line of stitching on the hinge to the background. So there we go, just burnishing those stitches. Decide I need a slight dab of glue to adjust it. And here I found another scrap of the background digital paper, and I'm just creating a small piece to go on the reverse of my scrappy scrap to cover all the machine stitching, which looks a bit of a crazy mess on the back. And it creates also a little journaling spot if I wanted to use it for that. And here I'm just going in with some glue stick to glue my background to my journal page. Just burnishing it down with my bone folder. And there we have it. just a very, very simple stitched piece for today, and a great way to use up scraps. So once again, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing this one come together, and I hope you'll join me for the next video in this Junk Journal January 2024 series. Bye for now.